Hello there and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. Now I'm very happy to announce that on the weekend I won the Midlands Open tournament. It was a fantastic event, expertly run, great club community. It was my first Open win. I won the intermediate tournament in Bristol a few years ago, and I've won a doubles tournament in Brighton. But this was my first Masters Open win, and it was a tough final, and I'm very happy to have won that event. Being from Birmingham, it is close to my heart, and the trophy is beautiful. So this is the match file. Now Reece Hodges gratefully recorded it for me and sent me the recording. I've just transcribed it. So I'm going to go through the match and show you some of the errors and blunders that I made, and offer some brief analysis. Now, of course, there's much to be said about errors, and videos could and probably will be created kind of offering more detail. But here I just want to give you a flavour of the match and some of the decisions I faced. Now there you can see on the left I played a 5.22 across an 11-point match, and my opponent slightly better, 4.15. What was quite interesting was my first game was by far my worst game. I think getting into a final, maybe I was slightly excited or unfocused, and you have first match syndrome. I definitely had first game syndrome. Things improved after that, and my PR was ground down, and then there was a bad take I'll show you in the middle. But overall, 5.22 is quite respectable, and I'm happy that I played at that level in the final. So here we are. So started off with a 5-3, so I'm white and my opponent is green. We can have a look at the panel here and we can see the arrow. So 5-3. I'm just going to look at my moves rather than the opponent's moves as well. So 6-2, standard. And then 4-1 was the first error here. So it was correct to come in on the 4 point, my opponent's 21 points, because I don't want to be trapped behind this emerging prime. But then it was much better to step up with the back checker 24 to 23, because then I'm giving myself a good 6 to escape. Also, 6s play well for the opponent because you can come out from the back also. By shuffling 11 to 10, I'm not really doing much. I'm giving my opponent some extra shots to hit me, such as a 4-5, and it doesn't really improve my position. I'm not using this back checker efficiently, whereas stepping up with this one just does let the checker see daylight. So it was slightly better to make this play, resulting in this position here. Okay, so that's my first error. And so, like I said, my first game, you can see in red, there are a few blunders we will talk about. So the first mistake was I made a running play here. I was slightly down by 3 pips, so quite an even game. Here I had the opportunity to make the 4 points, which is the best play. And I did consider these two decisions, and I should have made a 4 point, of course. The 4 point is the second strongest point in the home board and ends up in a very good position like this. Now, the issue with running here, 21 to 13, is that I have isolated his back checker. So it's going to be very hard to escape this, whereas keeping this checker on the 21 point means I can anchor up with a 3, 2-1, double 1, and I also have the strong home board. So I need to ask myself, how am I improving my position? And after a 4 point there, you can see my winning chances and my gammons both go up by about 4%. The connectivity is better. I have a stronger home board. Whereas running doesn't really achieve much. I now have 5 checkers on my midpoint. So my position is quite inflexible and one man is stuck back. Okay, so then 4-2 here. So I was worried about this backman getting stuck. So I stepped up to have good sixes to escape, and I played 13-9. But again, it's much better to make a point if you can. Making a 4 point here is very strong. The danger here of stepping up and ending up in this position is I'm giving my opponent many attacking numbers here. 3s, 4s and 5s, so we can square that. So 3 by 3, 9 attacking rolls, and then I'm just going to get cubed out, you know, if I get hit, and then I dance. So here, making a 4 point, I can just hold back a little bit. I still have 20 rolls for a 1 and 2 to step up. And also green has run out of timing, so he will have to play down from the mid. With some rolls, he might end up crunching his position, and then I want the better home board myself to contain him better. Then double 1. Now, this is a classic example of just playing too fast, really, and not spending enough time on my clock to think about the alternatives. So I played 3 moves instantaneously. So I came in on a 24, then I made a 5 point, and then I had the last ace. I could have stepped up, or I could have hit. And I did step up with the last checker, wanting 6s to escape. But of course, it's much better here to hit twice, because it just puts white in such a strong position here. Green has 2 on the bar. I still have good timing here to escape. You know, green is going to take some time entering these 2 checkers from the bar. I'm pretty much in a too good position here. Whereas before, by only hitting once, you know, I can get into an exchange of hits. He comes in, he hits me back, and it's not so clear. So definitely here, it's much better to hit twice if you can, and really, you know, put your opponent kind of on the ropes. And, you know, I have timing with these 2 checkers in the outfield to, you know, wait for a 1 or 2 to come forwards. So there we are. So, and then there was another blunder shortly afterwards, which just shows that, you know, lapses in concentration, what happens. And this was quite a shocking one, really, when I look back at it. And I'm glad things kind of got better, you know, from here. So obviously with doubles, there are many different things you can do, because you can move 4 separate checkers. So again, it is worth taking your time to kind of think through what you're going to do. Now here, again, I just played too quickly. I hit, I made the bar point to have the 6 prime, and then I just brought the other checker around. So I saw that I could make the 6 prime with the bar. I saw the hit, and then I thought, what do I do with the final checker? Completely overlooking this play, which was to hit, to make the 2 point, and then slot. And then I have good attacking numbers. So that the right move results in a position like this. So now I have 1s and 5s to hit. I have 6s to make the bar, and I have a 5 point board. So green has only 1 roll to enter double 1 out of 36. Whereas before here, now of course I don't have another shot on green's checker, and he has more entry numbers. So of course you can see kind of the benefit of the best play there. So again, I should have spent a little bit more time on that. Then 4-2 here. So I played 11-7, 8-6. Give myself some good distribution of numbers. But of course here, it's thematic in these positions to slot the front of the prime. and then just make that. Now, this wouldn't have been the case had I played properly the move before, so I end up in a trickier situation. But here, by making the correct play 8-2, any 6 will cover, so that's 17 rolls. And then I have some indirects, and even if I am hit back, green only has a 3-point home board, and it will ruin his timing a little bit. You know, if I get hit back and then he enters, he's going to end up having to crunch his front position. So here, the slotting play in front of a 6 prime is thematic and strategically correct. So there we are. So then we go forward and then double 1. Now, this is a good example of efficiency of checkers. So I'm on the bar, I come in with 1 and hit him, and then I have 3 other ones to play. So now my home board is pretty ugly. I'm sure Mitchie would have a few things to say about this. And here you can see that I have a lot of dilly builders, like inefficient checkers that are begging to be played forward. So I made the 5-point here. So that was my play, because I wanted to trap the opponent behind the prime. But you can see how ugly now my position is. You can see I've got this awful stack on the 3-point, and I've got 2 gaps, and having valleys against an ace-point holding game is never a good idea. Whereas the right play results in this position, which just looks more beautiful. Now, backgammon is and isn't a beauty contest. Here, you can see it's better than here. Just looks better, the numbers play better, I can fill this 4-point gap, and so on. So again, I should have just taken a little bit more time thinking on that. So my first game, first match nerves, and there we are. And then we have a double and a pass. So here, green, of course, could have played on for 2 good with white. Oh, no, sorry. I have 1 off, so not the case. So there you go. So the first game, not terrific. Second game, completely different story. A clean game with no mistakes, you know. But you can always look through what you did well. And a lot of grandmasters I've had on my channel, like Dirk Sheeman and Thomas Tenland, they all say, look at what you did well to reconfirm what you're getting correct. So, for example, like here, the 4-2 hitting play as an opening reply, a lot of people might make the 4-point in this scenario, but it's better to hit. 5-4, making the golden point. Double 6, played this correctly. Double 1. Okay, so a tiny one, but this, of course, could be put on a higher setting. So a pretty clean game. 5-6 was a good roll coming in. Double 4, making 2 points. Again, it's a close decision there. And then a double and a pass. So here there was a little bit of a turnaround on it was, let's see what happened. So double 1, I played 24 to 22, 6-5, then 5-3 on my head. Then I came in with a 6-5. Then he rolled double 3. Then I rolled double 4. Then, yes, this was a turnaround. So 6-2, he came in, hit me back, which was obviously a great roll, and the only roll which would have come in and hit me back. And then it was a double pass after that, because I was stuck and couldn't see daylight here, and he's also 20 pips up in the race. So there you go, a much better second game. Now we're going to a third game, which again is much better. So actually half my blunders So I made 6 blunders in total from checker play, and half of them were in the first game. So it's quite interesting in hindsight to think how I start matches, something to think about and carry forward. So 3-2 here, and then I had a 6-2. So I came in on a 23, and then I played 24-18. But here I missed a lovely duplication play. So the correct move here by playing 11-5 is I am duplicating the 4s for my opponent. He has 4s to hit and 4s to cover. And also I am down in the race, so I shouldn't be racing out there. Okay, 6-3, made a 5 point. So 4-1, I played this a little bit big here. I liked keeping the checker back for contact, particularly because I was down in the race, and also my opponent has 2 stripped points, which means he's likely to leave shots, but he does have quite a strong board here, and it was just a little bit too risky. So instead I should have just played 18-14 and stepped forward to leave a single rather than a double shot there. Okay, so then 3-2, so I come in and I hit. So here it's definitely right to make the hitting play because of the opponent's blots everywhere. So even though he has got a stronger home board, I'm kind of giving a tempo hit here, hoping he will dance, and then I can attack. So it's hit back, then I danced, then he doubles me. So this was a borderline take pass. Because I had the anchor, because he's open on the 5 point, because he has some blots on both sides of the board. So some of the indicators here. But if I had passed, it would have been correct. Also, it's one of those on a higher setting. It would, we can see on a higher setting. So yeah, so now he does swing to a pass, but it's still a close decision between a take and the pass. I'm slightly behind, 11 away, 9 away, and I've got the anchor, but the anchor is quite deep here. If he was further up, then for sure it'll be a take and maybe even a no double. Okay, so then we have 3-2, so I come in, calm move. 5-2 is a grey shot, coming in and hitting. That's payback for his 2-6 earlier. And then 6-2, so I hit, and then keep travelling. 24-17, 18-16 was slightly better there, but again, it's quite borderline. 15-8, reinforce the 8 point. Always good to have a spare on the 8 point and give myself more numbers to make the 4. 5-3, bring it around here as well. Like, of course, green could choose to hit me, but then he's sacrificing, the anchor, and playing 18-13, 8-5 would have been a blunder because he just strips the 8 points and leaves myself fewer numbers to make the 4 points. So always thinking ahead to what points I want to make in the board and so on. And then, okay, so glad I got this one correct here. So this 6-1 here, I had a choice between making the 4 point with 6-1 and making the bar point. Now, this is a good example of sometimes you have to unlearn what you know. So making the 4 point is the second best point and usually trumps the bar point, which is the third best point. But here, by making the bar point, I'm hoping he's going to crunch his home board. So I'm giving him more numbers to break his home board. Whereas now, by making the 4 point, now he has 4s also to escape. Whereas before, 4s play really badly. So here, in moments like this, you can really think about what are you trying to achieve, to slow down a little bit and make those decisions. And here a double one. So again, I thought about this and should have thought a bit longer, because again with doubles, you know, there's so many different things you can do. And I hit, so the hit was correct, and then I played 10 to 8. But it's much better to do this, resulting in this position, because what I want is I want this blocking point here, because it is 6 away from the 4. So if he comes in on the 4, I've blocked that, so he can't really escape. Even if he was 4-6, he comes in on a 4 and has to bring the other checker out instead. So having the blocking point 6 away from the open 4 point is very good to have, whereas before, again, just didn't look quite as good. You know, I didn't have that blocking point. And, you know, I am 40 pips down, so I do want to think about how I'm trapping my opponent behind a prime, how I'm making the numbers play badly for him. So here, I do have the builders to attack, but I can see this, which is the correct move. I have the blocking point there, and I still have good builders as it is. So then he came in with a 6-3. And had to jump out. And then double 2. Again, with doubles, these mistakes, something to work on in my own game, noticing the kind of that pattern. So here I hit and I made the 4 point. So obviously the hit is correct. But it's much better to actually make the back of the prime and hit again. So hitting twice. So before I only hit once, whereas here I hit twice, right? And obviously the benefit here is I'm giving myself much better timing to escape these 2 back checkers. He might enter low. He might crunch, but also I need some timing to kind of get these guys out as well. And obviously with 2 on the bar, you know, I am kind of moving more towards kind of a 2 good position, whereas before, you know, he could come in and hit me straight away, for instance, with like a 1-6, 2-6, 3-6. He could anchor up, and then I could get into some bother kind of later. So again, very tempting just to make the 4 point, but it's better in this instance to make the 9 point and leave him more trapped and give myself better timing. Okay, so and then there was a redouble pass. So again, a small 2 good decision here. So I should have just waited. I mean, what really can go wrong here? I'm down as well in the match score. I mean, there's so many numbers that will make the 3 point on his head. So I should have just taken a roll, you know, and then seen what happened. Kind of waited a little bit, withheld the cube, and try to play on with 2 goods, which would have obviously been 4 points instead of 2 points. So going on to game 4, so 4-2 was correct, obviously making a 4 point. Then 5-4, reinforcing the 8. 3-1 here. Again, like quite a close decision there. Making the 5 point, again, here you can think about which is the most difficult thing to do. So here, making the 5 point, I can only make a 3-1, double 1, double 3, double 4, whereas making a 20 point, any 4, plus double 2. So more chances next time to make the golden point. So here, making the 5 point is slightly better. And then I was a little bit too eager here on the double at this score. So often is the case that when you had the rack formation, it does lead to a lot of efficient cubes, and many of them are actually passes. But here, the race is very close. It's not guaranteed that I'll hit the other checker. I've duplicated my fours. He has got his 4 point made. So here I should have just kind of waited. And also, winning 1 point does take me also to an even away score. So always thinking about kind of cube efficiency of what scores you want to reach. Then 5-4 I did hit, and I brought the check around, trying to think about making a bar point on another roll. Then 11-8. So I just played 11-8 to reinforce my 8 point, but better to make the 11 point and play 6-5 here. Gives myself just better outfield control if he wants to kind of jump out with a 6, whereas before, if he plays like a 6-2 and runs out, then I only have a 4 to hit him. So not quite as good as before, where I would have had a double shot. Okay, then I played 13-6, like so. 24-14, I made the running play, of course, when I'm ahead. 14-7, hitting is great here. Anything else is a blunder. Of course, I had the option here of making the 10 point, but then he might roll a 6 and anchor up. And then, I'm going to have a problem clearing these outfield points, when he holds his anchor. So here, snuff out any resistance, 14-7, 2 back. And then, of course, I can make the prime. I have more numbers to make innerboard points. He comes in 2-1, and he makes a 23-point anchor. Then 2-1, you can see now slotting that point is good, because now I can make it, and I have the 5 prime. 6-3. So 6-4, 2 down. Again, I am leaving a 1-6, but look at his board here. What else can I do? There's no point in me playing something silly like 11-1, because then I'm still going to have the problem of clearing up point later when he might have a stronger board made himself. 2-1. Okay, so 5-4. Again, just bring them in, get good distribution. Having a spare on a 5 point is good. Then 3-1, and so on. That was quite good. And then there was a resign there. So now game 5. So quite a long match in total, 2.5 hours we played for, which was quite amazing, because when you're playing live, it seems there's no time at all. And actually, there was 11 seconds remaining in my last game towards the end. So, luckily I didn't run out of time. That would be a first, and not so good in the final. So 5-4, then double 3. So this was nicely played. Obviously, making a 5 point is very strong, particularly when he is still stuck back on a 24 and bringing down another builder as well. Then we have 3-2, anchoring up here. So marginal between doing that and reinforcing the 8 point. So I made the anchoring play. 4-1, making a 9 point, good point to have. Then 2-1. Now here, I thought about this one, about hitting and then going to a 5. But of course, after the correct play, you just have him completely penned in here. The blocking point is 6 away from his anchor. And even if he does roll a hitting number, then so what? He rolls a 3-5. I have a lot of returns. I have my anchor. So it's not so risky there. Then double take. So a little bit early again for me, kind of on the double. Even though I'm 20 pips up, here the match score, I'm ahead here. So by cubing, if he gets a good sequence, there will be some recube vig there as well, which would be good. You know, giving away cube ownership when you're ahead is not usually a good idea. And here I still have quite a bit of work to do. He has a 5-point made. I have this anchor to bring round, so things can turn quite easily here. And the gammons are only 23%. So then I did roll a good roll to make for 4 points. So here having a builders just gives myself more opportunities to make points. Then 4-2. Again, here making a 9 point is great because it communicates with the open 3 point there and another builder on top. And then double 5. Again, backgammon is beautiful, as I keep saying, and this move definitely was not beautiful, and my gut told me to do something else, and I wasn't really brave enough. So here, obviously, the hitting is right, switching the 2 from the bar to a 2 point, but then with the other 2, what do you do? So I chickened out and I played 9-4, and it ended up in this horrible stacked position where I've just got this whole stack on the 4 point. Whereas before, the best move is to just slot. So we can see here that it's better to hit and slot the 3 points because I have this blocking point 6 away. Also, I have an anchor if I'm hit back. And it's just a much more efficient use of checkers, ending up in this position. And now if he doesn't roll a 3, then I have 1s, 3s and 6s to cover. That's 27 numbers, and there are probably some indirects. Whereas before, I end up in this really funny position where it just doesn't look good, does it? If it's an inefficient use of checkers. So again, should have gone with my gut and slotted, but I was a little too cowardly there, and take measured risks that pay off, because otherwise you may end up in a worse position. And there I've reduced my winning chances and gammons both by 4% by creating an inflexible position. Okay, so then we have 5-4. So nice, I made the run out, reinforcing the midpoint there. Of course, here he only has 5s to hit me, so he has an inflexible position here, and also I do have a 4-point board. Then 5-4, in and out, which was good. 4-1, 16-12, 13-12. Now, again, it's very close, but I did not want to leave him a direct 6. But also I didn't like the idea of taking a spare from my 6 point. But it's a close decision either way there. 3-2. Again, playing safe. I'm ahead, so no need to take risks. Then 4-2, 4-1. So here I played 4-2 to 4-1, resulting in this position, when I should have actually played 5-3 and 4-1, like this. So yeah, tricky one. I think this is to do with just race equity, putting myself into a better position to bear off, not putting my checkers so deep. My numbers play slightly better here, and I don't mind the gaps because he's not going to leave me a shot straight away anyhow, because he's got these 2 checkers in the outfield, so I can make the board on another roll. So then 6-5, like so, and then 3-1. Okay, so again I didn't really want to leave a shot, because now he can leave with any 6 besides double 6. He's going to kind of have to come off the anchor. So I played this, resulting in this position when I should have actually just played this instead. Here I have opportunities, of course, to hit him and then make the 6 point or remake the 5 point board. Whereas before, even if I do hit him, I'm going to find it really hard to make these 2 points in my inner board. So it was better just leaving the blots and then remaking that on a future roll. Then 6-4, 2 down, and so on. So the rest is just a bear off. Here, 4-3, I could have actually cleared the 6 points, but I thought, well, let's take 2 off, because if he rolls a good double, then the race is going to be very close, because I do have quite a lot of wastage here. And, you know, doing a Keith count or an eyesight count, you know, you would have to kind of take that wastage into adjustment, and I wouldn't then have a 19 pip lead. It would be a bit closer. So taking 2 off is best, and then just giving, you know, the 6-1, 5-1 shot. So there we are. So that's game 5. Game 6. Okay, so double 6, always good to start. Double 3, again, I'm ahead here. So I stopped, did a pip count, and then came forward. You know, if you're ahead, come forward. If you're not, stay back. I then played 1 down. Keeping the spares on my 6 point. I don't really need the 3 point when he stepped forward to make the golden anchor. 4-2, make a 4 point. Then slotting points I want to make on a subsequent roll. Then went a little too far here, 6-2. Again, playing a bit too cautiously, and leave myself in a slightly stripped position with 3 outfield anchors with only 2 checkers on. Better to just pay now, effectively. 15-3, 15-9, resulting in this position. If green doesn't roll a 4, then it's great. You know, that's it, basically, game over. And he also only has a 3 point board. With my move, again, I'm going to be leaving kind of shots anyway. You know, if I roll another 6-2, for instance, you know, or I roll a 6-1, and then I have a real problem clearing these points. And so just pay now on that one. Then we have, again, I thought about it. I just cleared the point, didn't want to leave any shots, but of course it's much nicer to make the board and leave the ace shot. Because even if he does hit me, the chances are he's going to leave a lot of return shots for me, and I would rather have a stronger board made. You know, as McGrill said, put your checkers where they belong, and this 3 definitely should be played from 6-3. So I'll do that and then think where the 6 is afterwards. Even though it's only a small error to play safe, these minor differences, you know, are the difference between playing a 5 and then playing a 4, which, you know, I can play at, but maybe not as consistently as I like. Double 4, okay, slightly up, so break contact and run. Small missed double, 12 up, so there I can apply the roll, the 8, 9, 12 roll. There's different racing formulas you can look into. Then I played 7-1 and just covered a point. Slightly better to do 7-2, 6-5. Again, good for race equity to have checkers on each point. Then 6-2 to 4-2. So I just played them forward here. Like this, looks a little ugly. Better to just break the 6 point and give myself, you know, better racing. Now this one was a little difficult to find. I still like kind of keeping the 5 point board, of course, but I'm just playing my checkers kind of very deep into my board, you know, in a way kind of burying them, because now I can only use 1s to kind of play those forward. Then 4-1, and there we are. Then there was My opponent doubled here, so this is a big no double. He's actually not even ahead in the race. So even though I've got a crunched home board, he shouldn't be doubling when he's behind there. And then at the end, it was a redouble pass in this position because, of course, my opponent can roll a double. 6 in 36 rolls. Double ones, of course, don't take off, so only 5 in 36. So here, I just cash it. Then game 7. Let's just check. We did look at game 6. Yeah, okay, game 7. So I've got a big lead here. 8-2, 3 away, 9 away. So make a 5 points, make a 3 points. Again, it was close. Bringing 2 down. It's just more efficient use of checkers on my stacked midpoint. And here he has the 5 points made as well. So leaving kind of indirect shots is not good. Also at the match score, because I'm ahead, I want a less volatile game. So I don't want to get into a game where lots of hitting occurs and I've got 3 or 4 checkers back. And no, I want an easy game at the score. So that shows 13-10, 13-8, slightly better. Okay, stepping out here and coming forwards, this kind of plays itself really. Okay, so then he misses a double here when I'm on the bar, which would have been a double take, and then he swings towards a double pass once he has a 3-point board. Now, this was a bad take on my part. Now, for money, I'm sure it would be a take, but here I thought a lot about this decision. I spent probably a couple of minutes over the board thinking intently about this, and at first my gut said, drop it, protect your match lead, right? Don't give away points, particularly in a gammonish situation. Here he has 40% gammons. So that's my initial and correct assessment. And then afterwards I thought, well, he has 2 guys stuck back here on a 24 point. He has a blot on his ace. He has a blot on his midpoint. So I talked myself into a bad take. I think it was Roberti who said, if you have to be lucky, then it's probably a drop. And here, what am I really hoping for, as Zdeněk would say? You know, he misses, he rolls something bad and doesn't hit me. Then I anchor up and then he gets stuck. Just too many things need to go in my favour. So here I should have just given him a point instead of giving him 4 points, which was what ended up happening, which was obviously a big swing, taking him from 9 away to 5 away and closing the gap. And actually the match was very closely fought in the end when that needn't have maybe been the case. So definitely should have passed this, even though 2 would have taken me to Crawford. Gammons are inefficient, being 3 away. I don't give a full value of that. And here there's just too much gammon potential, too many pick and passes. And, you know, we can see how it unfolds. So he rolled 4-2, picked and passed. Then I entered with 1 checker. Then he hit me loose and escaped. And there we are. Now I've suddenly got 2 on the bar. Then he's closed the board and so on, right? So should have just let that one go and ended up, yes, losing a gammon, losing 4 points there. So not a good take. And interestingly, if I cleared the analysis there, then I suddenly played a world-class level. So 1 bad cube take takes me from a 4.74 to a 5.22. So just shows that I'm capable of playing world-class level, but don't take any bad cubes. Then we go to game 8. So 5-2, 3-1 here. What's harder to do, like I said before? So 3-1 perfectly makes a 5 point and unstacks the extra 2 checkers here. Here he only has 8 in a zone, so I'm not really under attack. So I don't need to make the anchor and give him good 5s to play over my head. So here I just make the 5 point and use the checkers efficiently. I think Seb Wilkinson said in a Galaxy video, always use every checker, all 15 checkers, make sure every single one is working for you. There's a great quote by Nabokov, the Russian writer, and he said, when I create characters in my novels, I make them work like galley slaves. So it's the same idea that every checker you should put to the best use possible and work them. And here I'm not applying kind of that logic. Then 5-2 again, silly, really, oversight. So here I'm hitting when my opponent has a stronger home board. He's got a 6 and 5 points made. Bad idea to hit when your opponent has a stronger board. Just play 13-6. Play safe and wait for a better roll. Now I knew this, but for some reason I couldn't bring myself to play 13-6. You know, I had played 9 matches before the final, so that's no excuse. You know, but fatigue, you know, can lead to unfocus. So staying hydrated, doing breathing exercises, getting some fresh air, walking around the room, all these things kind of help you not making, you know, silly errors which you know better not to make. Then 6-1, again, it all goes back to the principles and concepts. So I come in on the 1, and then where's my 6? Well, playing 8-2, I don't want the checker to be there on the 2 point. You know, so even though I'm behind, and that usually dictates to, you know, hold back, you know, have a goalkeeper, you have to unlearn that and step forward, you know, have that contact, but also put your checkers where you want them to be. Playing 8-2, I'm going to have a problem clearing that checker, covering that, I mean, on another roll. He might then jump off the anchor or leave a blot, and I just don't want the checker to be there, basically. So yeah, don't do it. Okay, so then we have double 3. So again, played that well. Slightly behind, but again, I want to hold the point. You always need to be thinking about which point am I holding. Here, playing 2 down and blocking the 6s is good, of course, but then I would have left, you know, a shot, an ace shot. So here, make the 5 point and then play forward to block some of the numbers, hold this midpoint, make things awkward. And the race is pretty close. I can get a good double to kind of clear that. Double 4. 3 down and 1 across. Again, slightly down in the race, so holding back for contact. Again, 6s are going to play a little bit awkwardly. Then 2-1. Okay, so now I play correctly and play safe. He's got the rack formation. Here, this is a classic, which sometimes fools slightly weaker players, improvers, that my opponent wants to be hit here. He wants me to hit him with a 2, because just think how many return shots I would be leaving there. And by hitting and him hitting back, then sure, it's going to be like a double pass most likely. So don't be tempted to break the anchor and end up, you know, having loads of blots in the A field. You also don't want to give your opponent a good 6 as well. So hitting here, he comes in and then he gets a good 6 to hit me back. So much better just to play a bit quieter there. So don't fall for the trap. Slotting in front of anchors as well. Good strategic point, particularly when it's stripped. And you're giving your opponent a tough choice on whether to break it or not. So 6-3, Nice, come in, play the 3 where he belongs. 8 to 6, 8 to 2. So here I could have, of course, made a 3-point and crept up 9 to 7. But no, my opponent's got a strong board here. I don't need to be taking any risks. I have the match lead, so just play quietly. 5-3. Again, nice and safe. 9-1, and so on. Bring that in. Now here, I have to leave a shot somewhere. I could have played 18 to 10, of course, which was close, but here it's slightly better, of course. Leaving the shot and making a 5-point board. Again, he's got these stripped points. He's going to be leaving shots anyway, and I want to make sure then that I have the strongest home board possible. Here I double 6 couldn't move. Then I rolled 6-4, and then he did leave a shot as anticipated. And then I made the point, and then he doubled me, which was a take, because there's only a 9-pip difference. And again, you can use a racing formula, or you can go into XG to look at racing formulas to see when you should take and when you shouldn't. So I took, and then he went into the bear off. And here was quite interesting because I think this was a match. Okay, maybe it was one after. So yeah, he rolled a double 3, and then that was it. So then we went for the next game. So now it's 8-8. So you can see giving away those points in the previous bad cube wasn't so good. So 5-1, like so. Double 3, he plays out well. 5-4, I just run there. Nothing really else to do. 6-4 is great. I make the 8-4 point. 6-2, again, this was nicely played by me. So seems to be a bit more focused as the match continues. Yeah, no point in leaving a shot against a stronger home board, right? So just play 8-6, 8-2. It looks a bit ugly, but it's definitely the safest play, right? And here, what sort of game are we playing? We're playing a racing game, right? So that's the best move. Then double 1. So this again is playing much better now. You can see there's just no errors or blunders. So my first game was not my usual standard of play. So here I make the 5 points and I clear the 14 point because it's a nuisance to clear this kind of double outfield anchor, this kind of 13-14 combination. It's really awkward to clear, and I don't want to have all these outfield points, particularly when I'm ahead. So I make the 5 point, and then I just make that and reinforce it. My numbers play better now as well, and I'm ahead in the race. Then we've got 5-3. Slightly better to play 13-5, but I like to have a spare there, and again it's very marginal. Again, these can be rolled out. You can look at these on a higher setting, so we can just highlight them and plus. I'm not going to do this for every decision, but of course, so there it's now completely borderline. Basically, whatever you do is the right decision. Then 6-3, efficient use of checkers, putting the checkers where I want them to belong. 13-4, again, he's got timing. I'm not going to get a shot, so slotting the 4 point, give myself good numbers to bear off. Then 4-1, again, 8-4. You want checkers on the 4 point when you bear off, and then 7-6, 2 crossovers. And then he was a double pass here. So again, always stop, make sure you count the race. And here it's just too much. He's 11 pips up. He's on roll. He has fewer crossovers. Too much of a difference. You kind of need to kind of let this go. So again, if you're not familiar kind of with racing cubes, then you can find a lot of good race formulas online to kind of help you with that. Then we went to 2 away, 3 away. So now I'm trailing. So 3-2 is fine. Double 6 was unlucky, couldn't move. Then 5-3, I come in and I hit, of course. 6-5. Now tidy up here. I'm ahead, so make sure I tidy up the blots. I could have obviously run the back checker being ahead, but then I'm just leaving blots everywhere. Then I'm very happy about finding this double. I did think about this. Now obviously a normal scores, this is nowhere near a double, but here a 3 away, 2 away, it's a good double because I'm killing my opponent's gammons, and you know there is some gammonish value here, 17%, because he's got this stack here on the ace point. So good double, good match score double, 3 away, 2 away. Then I roll probably one of my worst numbers, but minimizing shots here, 13-2, so with a 6-5, and here I'm duplicating the aces. He would need to make the 5 point. So 3-2, again, nice play. I feel happy. I come in on a 23, and then I have to find where the 3 is, you know, and then I make the hitting play, putting 2 blots in my board. Again, you know, fighting for gammons, you know, slightly increased kind of gammon win after this, but also it's kind of a tempo play, because what else am I going to do with the 3? You know, if I step up, then I'm leaving him so many shots kind of anyway to hit me, aren't I? I've got his blot in my board. I'm leaving a blot on a higher point where he wants to attack. So here, just take the initiative and come in and hit back. He also has a blot in his board as well, so you know he could hit me, I could hit him back. Anyway, he comes in and he does roll a 5-1, which is a grey roll, picks up both of my checkers, but no bother, because then I come in myself. Like I say, he's got, you know, only 2 points kind of made. Then 3-2, I make a 5 point, of course. You know, got to make the golden anchor. It means, you know, the blitz is off. Can't prime me as well, but here, you know, the formation is a bit more blitzy with checkers at a deep. Then 6-5. Again, this is thinking, well, the 6 has to come out, right? Got to play the 6 out, because where else is it? And then you think, well, where is a 5, right? And well, I can play 13-8, but I'm leaving him a shot there. So if I'm leaving a shot, I might as well hit him with 6-1 and utilize a stack on the 6 point. Then 5-2. Here I thought about this one a lot, kind of what to do. To hit, not to hit, leave my anchor. I was behind, so I probably should have stayed back. It was slightly better to hit and make the ace point like this, or in fact just play 6-4 and 6-1, leaving the 5, because he does have a stripped midpoint anyway. So if he hits me with a 5, he is going to leave returns, and I do get to keep my golden anchor. Like I said, I hit and then played forward. Yeah, so it was a tough one. Then 3-2, I come in, make the 20 point. So yeah, he did hit me there. Then I come in, make the 20 point. Then 5-1, come in and hit him back, of course. 5-4. Now, going to safe mode. You know, I have no need to hit him here because he has such a strong home board. So I just need to be playing carefully. So the 4, I come up to the 8, and then the 5 steps out. If he does hit me with an indirect number, then he's not also going to be able to cover at the same time. So here, it's good to come out and get some outfield control with this spare checker there. If he does leap out, which he does, as you can see, then you can see this checker is well placed to hit him back, which is exactly what happens. Then 12-4, so 12-9, 9-4. So here again, it's a nice duplication play, which, you know, I think I had about 2 minutes on the clock at this point. So I just went over his head and didn't hit him when I am slightly down in the race there. So better to hit and then go to a 4 point, and then he has force to enter and also force to cover, as you can see. So a nice kind of duplication move there. And then 6-6 was a blunder. So I'm down in a race. After the roll, of course, then I'm slightly up in the race, but basically it's the same really with that 4 pip difference with green being on roll. Here, it was just better for me just to stay back for contact, because green still has his outfield checker he needs to kind of bring round. So, and also I have timing to stay back for contact. Playing this too far forward like this, it just evens the race basically, and any double from the opponent would make him the favourite. So then 4-1, okay, overhead, and then so on and so on. And then here we had an interesting bear off. So now it's really close, you know, and at this score with green owning the cube, of course he could have won the match. So when he rolled this 6-6, I was thinking, that's it, game over, right? Now look, I'm dead, right? And then what happened was 4-1, 6-4, and then I rolled a 3 and saved the game. And it was very exciting. My heart was racing at this point, and the crowd were cheering. But it was anything can happen in backgammon, right? So that's good. So then he goes to Crawford, the Crawford game. So I just need 1 point. My opponent could win a gammon, of course, an undoubled gammon. So 5-4, 6-4. Now here at Crawford, it's really important. You know, I want to make the anchor. I don't want to give him any gammon chances to win the match. So the 4 is automatic, and then the 6, where do I want the checker to be? You know, I could play 8-2, but as before, I don't want it on the deuce point. I want it here on the 7. Yes, I'm leaving him more shots, but if he misses, then I've slotted the bar point, which is more valuable. Then I step forward here and make the 20 point. Again, a bit worried about kind of getting, you know, attacked with like a lucky 4 or 6 by staying back. But here, I really want to build my board, so it's much better to just play 8-5. And then 20-9, play around, 4-3, make the 5 point. Here, slot in the points I want to make. Okay, and this was pretty clean and resulted in the opponent winning a single game. So now he goes to 10-10 for the crowd, DMP. Everyone's going crazy. I've got about 45 seconds or something on the clock, you know, the start of this game. We've been playing for 2.5 hours at this point. So 2-1. Okay, I do this. Slot is slightly better. DMP make the moves. That's going to lose the most gammons because they don't matter. 4-3. He splits. He should have hit there with the 2. I've done a video on this kind of opening reply stuff. Please do check out my other videos and like and subscribe to my channel. Now over 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for your support in watching those. So then I rolled 3. So this was good, solidified my position, made 2 points. So make 10 point, make the 3 point. 5-1. Okay, so Could have made the 5 point, did consider it, you know, pretty strong making the 5 point here, only leaving him an indirect number. No, sorry, he does have sixes there to hit me. So only leaving him sixes and some indirects, but having the stronger home board, you know, it's a big asset making that. Instead, I played safe, you know, but a DMP, you know, you don't need to play safe. You can take bolder risks to fight for the best points. Then double two was a great roll. You know, he came in, he hit me back, which was a mistake. He shouldn't have hit me there, which gave me the opportunity for me to roll a double two. So a lot of hitting numbers, but double two obviously one of the best ones, you know. Yeah, hitting and then making the 4 point. Then here I wanted to just close him down, so I wanted to put 2 checkers on the bar, and so I played 10 to 5, and then I played 13 down, 13-9 as another builder there, so putting him 2 on the bar. Again, it's marginal. If let's just do a little plus on these. Okay, so it's crept up a little bit, but it's slightly better to hit, keep my midpoint, and then just step forward and escape the back checker. Here, more aggressively, I brought one down. But of course, here, if he rolls a double 5, or even like a 1-5 or 2-5, then I've got builders, I've got blots all over the place, you know, and it could go wrong. Then 10 to 5. I played 10 to 5, 9 to 6 here, when it was better just to again escape, or you know, come forward with a back checker, because here I don't want to be rolling some like awkward numbers, you know, like rolling double 3s and double 5s, and you know, things that, you know, might work out really badly, you know, might end up having to crunch my position. You know, we've all been in that position ourselves where we've had the perfect board and then we've rolled an anti-joker and had to crunch it and then regretted it afterwards. Then double 2 here. So now the hit is right and stepping up. So now I'm kind of making it better. Keeping this slotted, I'm only giving him a 1-6-2-5, and also I can make that point on a subsequent roll. Then, of course, he rolled a 1-6 and hit me. Then I hit him back with a 5-1. Then he hit me again with a 2-5. His incredible parlay. And then I come in and then I'm ready to escape, right? Come forward, 5-2. So here, like, you know, I'm still a slight favourite, but it could go either way. Then 3-1, he comes forwards, leaving only an indirect. Then I reinforce that point, 23 to 20, again preventing him from rolling, you know, a lucky double or something, such as double 4, double 6, and here keep that one there to move around. Then 6-5, again I kept slotting when it was slightly better just to play 20 to 9 kind of here, and kind of leave that one kind of there a bit stuck. Here, you know, keeping that checker back. Again, if he plays down into the outfield, you know, I've got another number to attack him. Make life difficult for your opponent. Then 4-3, should have just left the 1 and the 5 shot, particularly because he has 2 checkers in his home board. So playing 20 to 13 gives myself, you know, obviously grey 6 is the kind of cover, whereas before, put your checkers where they belong, and here I'm giving him 4s anyway, even though 4s are a little duplicated. Now then he rolled 13-3, then 16-7. Again, I made the slotting aggressive play. I could have played 16 to 10, 4 to 1, and not left him a direct shot with a 5, because, you know, his board is getting stronger. But then when he did roll a 5-1, he puts him in a very tough situation, because now he can hit me, but does he want to? Does he want to give up the anchor with a blotting board? And he was actually correct to do so and lift, but he didn't. He played 2 down instead. So slotting there, when I've got such a strong home board, it does give your opponent a hard decision. Then 6-5, made the ace, then 3-1. Here, I could have broken the 6 point here, of course, without leaving the shot against the 5 point home board, but I wanted to keep the strength of the board, but leaving the shot is a bit too risky there, giving him a direct number, which could have turned, the game. So then 6-4. Again, super safe here, play them forward, don't leave a shot unnecessarily. Double 2 was great, stepping forward with that anchor. Then he rolled 6-5, and he didn't really have a choice, he had to leave, and then I rolled 2-1, which was an absolutely beautiful roll, picking and passing. My winning chances went up by 12% after that play. Amazing. And then 5-4, I bring it round, 5-1, lift, 11-6, and so on. And then I get an awkward 6-4 in this scenario, and I have to leave a shot like so. And now I'm praying to the dice gods not to be hit back in return, because here the hit would have been fatal. Maybe not fatal, because I still got 25% winning chances. Well, not after the hit, but yeah, I can still come in on the open point. So 6-4, I leave a shot, and then amazingly he dances, and then I roll a great 6-4 to cover that point, and then he comes in a 6. And then the match is pretty much over after this. I'm bearing him off, he brings him round, and then he resigns. And then that is it. So there we are. So overall, 4.74 without that cube take, or 5.22 with cube. So 5.22, I'm pretty happy with. With a lot of people watching, with 2 full days of backgammon, I will take that. But, as you can see, rooms for improvement, how I played some of the doubles, thinking about takes, when I'm behind the match score, and also the opening game, which was, not my finest hour, that kind of first game syndrome, thinking about how can I improve that. So, yes, I'm happy. Obviously, I won a trophy. It was a great moment in my backgammon career. It gave me confidence to keep going. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. That's my warts and all Midlands Open final. Thank you for watching. Like I said, keep checking out my channel. New videos every Wednesday. I'm going to get new guests on as well. See you around at the next tournament. All the best. Goodbye.